My name is Julia, and I have been married for 5 years. My husband has expressed his desire for us to have our own home, especially considering the possibility of future children. I agreed that owning our own place was important, so I took the initiative to construct a new house, investing $800,000 in the project. However, once the house was completed, my mother-in-law began visiting nearly every day. "What a lovely house, truly worth the $800,000, she would say. "It's spacious and the aroma of the food is delightful. You should really appreciate Peter for living in such a wonderful place," she added. Peter is my husband and her son. Each visit, she reminds me to look after him, which has become exceedingly redundant. You can't just build an $800,000 house easily. Be thankful, she admonishes. Her nagging extends beyond just cherishing my husband. She critiques everything from the way I clean to the cloudiness of the dishes and even the seasoning of the food. Thus, I had firmly decided that living together was not an option. However, to my horror, she suggested the very thing I feared, moving in with us due to the house's ample space. I was speechless and could only muster a forced smile. It appears she mentioned this to my husband as well, for he approached me that night, suggesting, "Mom loves the house and wants to live with us." That's fine, right? But I could not hide my true feelings. No, it's not. I wanted it to remain just us until we decided to have children. Despite the house's size, I argued that it wasn't about space, but about wanting our privacy. If I were too direct, it would likely cause a dispute, especially given his close bond with his mother. He claimed her presence would be beneficial, highlighting her culinary skills and suggesting that living together would mean enjoying her delicious cooking daily. Yet, she has never once cooked during her visits, supposedly out of consideration for me as the homemaker. He praises her cooking and insists that her presence would help with the household chores, although she has yet to lift a finger. I wonder if my husband truly understands the situation or if he's overlooking the reality. Nevertheless, I still feel it's premature for such a living arrangement. "I can become a housewife that your mother approves of," I said, hoping to ease the tension. "Maybe, but if you keep talking like that, living together will never be possible. It's impossible to be like Mom, who can do everything. A normal housewife, especially not you, can't match up to Mom." How could he say such terrible things so casually? I'm doing my best, you know. I know that. That's why living with Mom would be beneficial. She could teach you a lot, and then you could become a smarter housewife. No matter how indirectly I express my refusal, my husband doesn't understand. Imagining a life of hardship living with her, I realized my future would be grim if I just let things slide, so I decided to be honest about my feelings. "Look, I don't want this." "Why not?" "I told you, we can still have time just for the two of us." "That's not the issue. Your mother is quite nagging, you know." "Nagging? My mom? That can't be." "It's true. She might not say anything in front of you, but she nags about every little thing. It's already hard enough with her visiting every day." "Huh? What are you saying?" "I mean, she's here from morning till night, every day. This is practically like living together already. If it's the same, then we might as well live together." "No, it's different. It's already too much for me as it is. I can't handle more." "You thought that way?" "I can't help it. She's overbearing, and her being here takes up all of my time. That's why I'm against living with your mother." "Can't you be nice to my mom?" "That's not the issue." "Enough. A wife like you can leave. We're getting a divorce." The moment our 5-year marriage was easily shattered. "Are you serious?" "I am. If you don't like it, then accept living with my mom." "No, I won't accept. If I do, it will only make me suffer." "But really, are you okay with this?" "You'll regret it, you know." As if I'd regret more staying with a woman who can't even be filial to my parents. "So, you're choosing your mother over me?" "Of course. There are plenty of other women, but no one can replace a mother." "Understood. Fine then. If that's how it is, I'm leaving." "Yeah, leave. Once you're gone, I'll live in this house with my mom. We're better off without you." Was this just an exchange of harsh words, or was it his true feelings? And so, we ended up getting a divorce. But considering it was over his mother, the mother-in-law would surely feel guilty. It seems my optimism was misplaced. As soon as I left, my mother-in-law promptly moved into the house and claimed the sunny room as her own. I'm glad she's gone. Every time I came over, she had such a sour face. It was tough for me. Was it? I'm sorry, Mom. From now on, let's live happily together in this house, just the two of us. Meanwhile, I was irritated by my husband's mommy issues, searching for a new place to live, and moved into a property with good security. Now, I can use my time meaningfully without being disturbed by my mother-in-law. Yay, that was the feeling, but it seems it wasn't that simple. I thought the divorce had finalized our separation, but it turns out my husband hadn't completely cut ties with me. This became apparent on a holiday about a month later when I received a call from a familiar number. Hello, it's me, Peter. Oh, Peter. How's living with your mother? I guess it's comfortable now that I'm gone, isn't it? Yeah, well. Where are you living now? Why would you ask that? Just wondering. I won't tell you. That's personal information. But we're married, aren't we? We're not married anymore. You're cold. You're the one who did this. You destroyed our 5 years of marriage in an instant. That was you. Well, I didn't call to argue about that. Right, otherwise it would be a good time to hang up. So, is your mother doing well? Yeah, she's fine. She's currently sprawled on the living room sofa, watching TV. That was her usual spot when she came over. Yeah, seems like it. You sound quite gloomy. What's wrong? I asked, but I knew what was going on without needing to hear it. She probably does nothing but make demands of him. Actually, since I started living with Mom, I know. Every morning she's lying on the sofa, and that's where she stays until bedtime. I can imagine. You can, huh? Well, that's how she was when she visited. From the moment she arrived until she left, she wouldn't move except to go to the bathroom. Really? And no matter where I am, she shouts for me. When I go to see what she wants, it's either juice or something sweet. Her demands are endless. As usual, huh? As usual, yes. Whether I was in the bathroom or cooking in the kitchen, it didn't matter to her. She ignored everything, and if her demands weren't met, she'd start yelling. Exactly. I don't understand why Mom has become like this. Really? Because the Mom I remember was kind, like a model mother. Is that so? And now she does nothing. Can you believe it? Believable. That's exactly how it was. No, you don't get it. The Mom I knew was always the perfect housewife. I saw her moving around. Isn't that when your dad was around? Since we moved out after getting married, right? That was after your dad passed away. Yeah, that's right. So maybe she was trying hard because your dad was there. No way. But she doesn't even cook now. She used to. So, what are you worried about? She's getting senile or something? Oh, well. It seems my ex-husband Peter is seriously worried, given that the mother he knew was the best. It's understandable he can't believe what she has become. That might make him suspect dementia. But I know the truth. You know, you should ask your mom directly. She always preferred doing nothing. It was just that your dad was strict, so she pretended to be busy. Why would you say that? Because she told me directly. According to her, your dad was very particular and quite strict, so she pretended to be cooking just to avoid his complaints. How did she manage? She would buy ready-made meals from the supermarket or the local Chinese place, then just plate them. That's why the fried chicken tasted different. Every time it varied from shop to shop. That's ridiculous. But you said it yourself. It tasted just like it came from a restaurant. Is that so? No, that's ridiculous. Can you believe it? Don't yell at me. Just check for yourself. Anyway, I'm the worst and a stranger now, right? Yeah, I'll ask her. He seemed genuinely intent on asking his mother and then hung up the phone. I told them not to call me again as we were hanging up, but it's unclear if he heard me. It didn't take long to find out he hadn't heard. He called again that weary day. I asked Mom, so uninterested I was, watching TV and sipping coffee while listening to Peter's story in the background. I can't believe Mom was just arranging store-bought meals. They tasted good, so it's fine. It's not about that. I feel like I've been deceived. It's not just that, now that that's gone, it's all about eating out every day. Oh, you get to eat delicious things, then we can't afford that forever. That's not my problem, she said in the end. She just made do like that because Dad was strict. It might be a life hack, but it makes me wonder if my father-in-law, despite seeming meticulous, was quite oblivious. So, I asked her to cook something once in a while. What I got was instant noodles. Oh, how nice. You said my cooking was worse than instant noodles, so that must be the best. Don't be sarcastic, I had every right to be. No matter how hard I tried or how elaborate the meal, if I made it, it was deemed bad. Once, when I pretended something I made was from a prepared batch, he said it was delicious. I seriously wondered if he was taste blind. I told her she used to do things properly. She said she was only thinking about how to deceive Dad because he was strict. Wow, a pro at deceiving. She doesn't clean or do laundry, and when she shops, it's only for snacks she likes, nothing substantial. That's quite something, I told her. If she's just lying around all day, she could at least fold a few. Then she got angry, saying, she's worked her whole life. How could I say that? She worked as a housewife, that's what she meant. I see, I said. She could still work at 60. She yelled back, after working till 60, you still want to push me? Marvelous. Who would have thought the mother would dominate the son who so easily signed the divorce papers? Now the house is a mess. It used to be new, but now it's full of trash, ketchup stains on the walls, unknown stains in the hallway, and food spills everywhere. It was clean when I was a kid. Unbelievable. As unbelievable as he finds it, there's no denying it. I don't want to live in this dirty house anymore. But you don't want to, yet it cost $800,000, and you chose to live with your mother, not me. Not my problem. Yeah, but I've noticed money disappearing from my wallet. A horror story. Ghosts don't take money, do they? Right, they don't need money in the afterlife. What? Every time your mother visited, money vanished from my wallet. What do you mean? Sounds like your mother might be taking it. That can't be, but your money's disappearing too, right? So what else could it be? Well, yes, but it's hard to believe your mother could do that. If it makes you feel better, let's just say it's a ghost. A ghost taking your money at night, peaceful that way. Yeah, must be a ghost. As impossible as it sounds, if that's what he wants to believe, there's no need to say more. He said he'd be careful, but what's there to be careful about? And so, 2 months passed. During this time, he called numerous times, always with complaints. Truth be told, I find a bit of joy in hearing my ex-husband's woes. After parting in that way, I can't help but feel a little satisfied thinking that my ex-husband is suffering, even just a bit. If someone were to say he's the only one enjoying happiness now, that would be no joke, wouldn't it? So, I welcomed his complaints. However, it turned out to be an even bigger complaint. Julia, I can't pay the loan. I knew that from the beginning. What were you doing until now? I was saving money, you see. No matter how much you saved, that shouldn't have been enough for such a large loan. You're right, that's why I said I regret it. Wait, your regret was about the loan? What else could it be? Even if I try to pay the house loan on my own, it would be impossible for an ordinary company employee. Right, then how are you paying for it? No matter how much you say it, it should have been impossible. Exactly, that's because I was using my income. Wait, what do you mean? I told you, it's my income. But you weren't working outside. Working outside isn't the only way to earn money, you know. What do you mean? I mean remote work. You can't possibly have paid with remote work alone. Stop joking and tell me the truth. Well, I don't know what to do. I'm telling the truth. This can't be, it's not a lie. I had a job I had as a hobby since I was young, and it eventually took off. Now I'm making quite an income with subcontractors. How much? Well, it never drops below $1 million per month, roughly speaking. I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me? What would you have done if you knew? Because if I had known, I wouldn't have parted like that. Is that so? Even if you knew there was a loan, wouldn't you have parted ways if you knew my income? No, it's not like that. I didn't like that you weren't working. I felt frustrated when I thought I was paying the entire loan and I couldn't stand it. Oh, I see. That's the first time I've heard that. If you had told me, we could have talked it out properly. It goes both ways, you know. If that's the case, let's live together again. I refuse. Why? Because I can't live with your mother. It's not a big deal to live with my mother, is it? It is. That's why I said no back then, right? And besides, aren't you going through a tough time now? Don't you get it yet? See, I told you it would end up like this. Fine, I get it. I won't ask you for help anymore. Yeah, sure, whatever. I've got a plan. I have no idea what kind of plan. I'll find a new girlfriend, huh? I'll ride the reverse ball too. Straightforward. Watch, I'll expose your true colors. Peter said that and hung up the phone. After that, there was no contact for 7 months. However, half a year later, he contacted me, all cheerful, and then he told me he had met someone and was planning to get married. I didn't mind and even congratulated him. But what struck me as strange was that he, someone with a mother complex like him, was marrying a female CEO. I had my thoughts, but since she seemed happy, I congratulated him. The real problem came 3 months later. Once again, Peter came crying for help. What should I do? The real estate agent is telling me to move out. Huh? Didn't you miss paying the mortgage? No way. I've been paying for it properly. I covered it with my salary, and she contributed to my living expenses. But for the past 3 days, she was away on a business trip, and the real estate agent showed up asking me to move out. Why would they say that? They said the house was sold. Sold? I didn't sell it. But the real estate agent said your wife came and explained that you were in the hospital, so she's in charge of everything. I see. Did you do this? Why on earth would I do that? You're quite clueless about yourself, aren't you? I can't think of anyone else. Try to ask the real estate agent for more details. I have no idea what to ask. My head's a mess when things get like this. He's completely hopeless, so I rejected his plea to help him further. But he insisted on going together to meet the real estate agent. We heard that the house was sold. Yes, someone wanted to buy it. We showed them the inside, and it was quite dirty, so we sold it for an appropriate price. Did someone come to sell it? Yes, a wife came. Is the wife the woman we're talking about? The way he said it was harsh. Couldn't he at least ask if she was the one? No, it wasn't her. The woman was wearing heavy makeup and had big jewelry. Big jewelry? It's her. Is this woman your fiancé? Yeah, she's the one. Why? She's the CEO of a company, right? That's what she said. Were you having financial problems? I never mentioned anything like that. If that's the case, could it be fraud? Yes, it's what we call a marriage scam. She's caught up in a matrimonial fraud. Such instances occur occasionally. They express intentions to wed, acquire a residence, and after a few visits, we are left with no alternative but to divest. However, after some months, only the woman reappears, expressing dissatisfaction and insisting on selling. When we prompt them to vacate, the man rushes in, declaring his non-consent to any of it, adamant that his partner's actions are out of character and the sale must be erroneous. This narrative is familiar, remarked the real estate agent, producing documents from behind, sale agreements and receipts bearing her signature as the agent and Peter's seal and certification. With these documents, our hands are tied. If you don't vacate, it becomes an issue for us too. This situation is undoubtedly distressing, but our options are limited. You might want to report this to the authorities. It's appalling, truly. Nevertheless, I must ask you to depart promptly. No, this must be an error. It's too cruel to force me out this way. She will return post her business journey, and we can resolve this. Peter implored the real estate agent, but to no avail. The agent remained unmoved given the legitimate sale document. Peter exited, appearing expelled and markedly aged. "This is my house, mine," murmured Peter, his spirits low, words failing him. I remained silent, a quiet chuckle escaping me. Subsequently, Peter attempted repeatedly to reach her, yet inevitably, he faced eviction, continuing to service the significant loan. Now, coupled with his inactive mother, he relocated to an affordable, modest flat, engaging in day labor and nocturnal part-time work. Despite Peter's dilapidated state mirroring his new home, his stepmother remained indifferent, maintaining her egoism. Occasionally, Peter reached out to me, his messages consistently echoing regret. I was such a fool. Why did we part ways? You're a fool. Hey, consider reconciling, huh? Surely, there's no one superior to you out there. I've come to realize, it's not about you being superior, but you falling for my financial status, right? Yeah, that might be the case. What if I leave my mother? I'll do anything to ensure your happiness. Let's begin anew. Despite his praises for his stepmother, the time for separation seemed long past. No, I can manage it. I value you more than my mother, he contended. Sure, I replied, yet I harbored no desire to rekindle our relationship. As I listened to Peter's fervent pleas, I hung up each time, reflecting on his situation with a thought. Well done.